Good morning. It's good to have you join us on Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network TOS Television, a program where we read some stories from the front pages of the headlines and the national dailies each day. And of course, my name is Merciful Ajinimo. Joining us to analyze some stories this morning is Adebayo Fajimi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We begin from the Nation newspaper, and the big story there is train attack. Terrorists contact hostages' families. We have a couple of riders. The first says, sober mood at bank over MD's abduction. They use bosses to take away victims, says survivor. Amechi, we need 8 billion naira to replace 4 coaches. 2-kilometer rail tracks destroyed. Helicopters, drones to shadow trains. Governors say violent attacks threaten our capacity. And Kaduna Commissioner loses finger. Erufai says we are at war. Well, what do you make of course, this news, we spoke about it yesterday, and even till now, they are still confirming people that were involved in that incident. But what do you make of the contact from the terrorists to the families of the hostages and the back and forth with everything?
Yeah, just like we said yesterday that, what happened in Kaduna was a national tragedy, and we also talk about government, the need for the government to step up on their responsibility to ensure that they avail security of life and property to the citizen. So now, seeing the terrorists, contacting the family of the abductees, shows that there is more for us to do, and that there is need for us to deploy the use of technology to track these people, because we still could not fathom why some people will be abducted and they are still using this technological means to communicate, to the to the victim, to the family of the victim, and at the end of the day, we still don't get results. These people will still not be apprehended. So there is really a lot, for us to do to ensure that these people are apprehended and they are being prosecuted, because we cannot continue this way.
All right, that's of course is on the big story on the Nation newspaper from the very top. APC chair says no room for failure. The writer says Adamu assumes office. And then bandits kill 23, abduct many in Kaduna village. Gunmen came in numbers. And that's a statement on that story. And besides that, on page 2, OAU student Adedoyin others have case to answer. And still on that page, Pupil dies, 15 injured in Ondo school bus fire. And then we see Nigeria others to get $100 billion climate control cash. That's on page 28. And Udom Hayatuddin swell PDP presidential aspirant to 12. The writer says Ohabunwa Momodo in the race. Sale of farms to close April 8. And that's coming on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And the last story there on that paper is NIN SIM linkage ends today. And that's on page 3. UTME begins May 6th in 645 centers. That, of course, is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And over to the business day, the big story is micro-pension drugs as customers' behavior remains unclear. And that's on page 30 of the business day. Besides that, from $4,000 to zero, banks cut dollar spent on Naira cards. That's on page 31. And then air travel businesses hit as flights to Kaduna halt. And that's on page 2 of the Business Day newspaper. And still on that page 2, mobile money, telcos leaders Nigeria. Others processed $490 billion. And beside the picture of the day there by the right-hand side, we'll see idle NNPC refineries post 227 billion naira loss since shutdown. That's on page 29. And MTN Nigeria profit jumps 45.5%. Revenue hits 1.65 trillion naira. That was on page 31. We move over to the Blueprint newspaper. The big stories: Adamu opens up. I never knew I would be APC chair a month ago. We have 4 others. The first, we must buckle up. 2023 won't be easy for us. And the second, party will ride on Buhari's integrity legacies. The third says 70% success recorded. NWC must sustain gains of the past. That's coming from Buni. And Northern Group tackles Wike autumn, insists North must produce president. All of this is on page 6. What do you make of the new national chairman of the APC, Adamu, of his statement?
Well, statement shouldn't or will not justify whatever ineptitude that will likely come, to his office, as time goes on. And just like some people have said that, they have to buckle up because it's really, really going to be a very tactical, titanic task for the APC to ensure that they win in the forthcoming general election. Because if you look at the whole situation in the country, what the APC capitalized on years back is still repeating itself. Talk about education, talk about insecurity,
corruption.
Yes, corruption and all of that, especially in Kaduna State. We all knew what Malam Nasir El-Rufai, what it touted, before they ousted the PDP. And you can see the manifestation at a very high pedestal in that state especially. So now, how they are going to sell the party, to all Nigerians again, to ensure that they convince them and to pick APC, or to rather cast their ballot for the APC and neglect the PDP. That I still do not know, but to be sincere, it's not really going to be a easy task for them to come back 2023.
All right, that's on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. From the very top, governors appeal $418 million Paris Club refund judgment. That's on page 6. And then besides that, we see Modu Sharif, Ramatu Aliyu, Power Minister Dambata, others make Blueprint 100 most influential Northerners. And then we see 20 teenagers speaking foreign language attacked us. That's coming from a Kaduna trained survivor on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. And then 360 million naira debt, Kogi wants Glow Airtel against tax evasion. That's on page 5. World Cup qualifier, FIFA CAF doping official Kabungo die of cardiac arrest. That's on page 31. And page 22, Fidelity Bank to empower 4,000 students in 36 schools. On 23, stop politicizing tax revenue generation. NAMI wants politicians. We see number of poor Nigerians to hit 95.1 million in 2022. That's the statistics from the World Bank. We move over to the Nigerian News Direct paper. The big story is handing over no more election failure in APC. That's coming from Senator Adamu Buniwu out. Adamu-led APC NWC assumes office, 6 supportive committee members vows to deal with division tendency. And we see hashtag break the bias, bundle sponsors vocational grants to over 3,000 women in commemoration of International Women's Day. That's on page 3. And insecurity, IGP acquires 5 additional high-powered unmanned aerial vehicles. And then we see 1.2 trillion naira unclaimed funds. Reactions, trail discovery of 300 billion naira in commercial banks. Then we see a story on page 13. Lawan constitutes 7-man ad hoc committee to probe pay TV tariff hike. That's on page 13. What do you make of this story?
Yeah, I think it's a very good one, and I want to thumbs up for the Senate, for that, because a couple of days ago we see, what was it called, Go TV, DSTV, stepping up,
hiking their prices for subscription and everything.
Hiking price for subscription. It is not a welcome development, because if you look at it, many Nigerians are just making this company becoming richer every day. I don't, you can imagine somebody like me, somebody like us, how many hours have we, I could not remember the number of times I've sat in my room watching TV.
Turn on the TV until you want to watch
yes,
a pleasure.
Of course. But if there is like Senate did yesterday, that so there should be pay per view, that you only pay for what you watch. That is really going to help a lot of Nigerians.
It sort of regulates the usage.
Yes. So if that can be done, of course, you will know that whatever service that is being rendered for you is what you are paying for. But that is not happening, even despite that they are still hiking the price. So that is not a welcome development. And I want to give kudos, to the National Assembly, for taking responsibility and ensure that they fight, for Nigeria.
We do hope that the 7-man committee come up with something that will, be tenable and will stand as a standard. Yeah. Of course, that's on the Nigerian News Direct paper. And on Daily Trust, of course, the big story is Abuja Kaduna train bombing. Security forces failed to act despite intelligence on planned attack. A couple of others there, how terrorist bandits collaborated to lay siege. NRC ignores request to cancel night ride over security concerns. Enough talk. End our endless mourning. Imams Christian Association of Nigeria tell Buhari. Abductors begin contact with families. And the last story there, we see 20 villagers fleeing from bandits drowned in Niger River. That's on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Don't forget, you can always be a part of our social media community so you do not miss out on any updates talking about news from around the world, especially in Nigeria and of course across Africa. And that is our website, www.tostvnetwork.com, and our social media platform at TOSTV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much, Adebayo, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, viewers. Don't forget, we'll come away again tomorrow, which is Friday, for the last edition before the weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you tomorrow.